What's up, my nerds? It's Hustle Lombax back with more Metal Gear Solid, and in this particular one we're actually going to go through all the briefing tapes because it gives you like a little extra flavour into the main story, you know, kind of Solid Snake being briefed about the mission ahead. So let's do this thing. I can't remember how many of these there are. I'm pretty sure there's like more than I expected, but they're really short anyway. Hello? How are you doing?
It's been a long time, Snake.
Should have known you were behind this, Colonel.
That's no way to greet an old war buddy, Snake.
What do you want from me?
I just invited you here so we could have a talk.
Invited? That's what you call sending armed soldiers after me?
Sorry if they were a little rough with you. But we've got a serious situation here.
Oh,
Only
have
you
we
can
now?
get us out of it.
Oh, can I
I'm
now?
retired from Foxhound. You're not my commander anymore, and I don't have to take orders from you or anyone else.
You will take these orders. I know it.
Why?
Excuse me.
Why? How does he know it?
Dr. Naomi Hunter.
Hi,
She's chief of
Naomi.
Foxhound's medical staff and an expert in gene therapy.
Are you military?
No, civilian. I've been sent here from ATGC. Pleasure to meet you, Snake.
A pleasure to meet you too, I'm sure.
Don't worry. This injection won't hurt a bit.
What's the shot for?
What's wrong? You don't like shots?
Not really, no.
Snake, listen up. It all went down 5 hours ago. Heavily armed soldiers occupied Shadow Moses Island, a remote island off the coast of Alaska.
What soldiers?
Next Generation Special Forces, led by members of Unit Foxhound. They presented Washington with a single demand, and they say that if it isn't met, they'll launch a nuclear weapon.
A nuclear weapon?
I'm afraid so. You see, the island is the site of a secret nuclear weapons disposal facility.
Oh.
Foxhound hijacking a nuclear weapon?
Yep.
Now you understand how serious the situation is. You'll have two mission objectives.
Okay.
First, you're to rescue the DARPA chief, Donald Anderson, and the president of Arms Tech, Kenneth Baker.
Well, what are they doing over there?
They're both being held as hostages.
Those are some heavy-duty hostages.
They are certainly.
Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to launch a nuclear strike, and stop them if they do.
Okay.
Any questions, Snake?
Questions?
None that I can
haven't
think
even
of.
said whether I'd accept this mission.
Well, you can make up your mind after you hear more about the situation.
Okay. It's the end of tape 1. Cool. Go. Briefing file. Operation outline. So yeah, these start to like expand. I mean, look at that. Look how big they are. Bloody hell. Right, that one, go. I do like how thorough it is, though.
Tell me about the nuclear weapon disposal facility.
The disposal facility includes a hardened underground base.
Okay.
Even
Why is
with
the
our
base
most
hardened?
Advanced intelligence gathering equipment, we can't tell what's happening inside.
So someone needs to penetrate,
Yeah.
gather intelligence, and report back. Sounds like a spy movie. What's the insertion method?
Well, an air insertion is impossible.
Not with this storm going on.
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
Okay.
Approach.
Yes, within a few miles of it. The facility is equipped with sonar detection capabilities. They'd be able to hear our engine or propeller noise.
And then
We'll launch a one-man SDV.
launch.
Same as a torpedo, only this has no propulsion device of its own. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it.
Okay.
From there on, you'll have to swim.
Do I just put it in the recycling bin?
Swim in sub-zero Alaskan water.
Don't worry. That suit represents the latest advances in polythermal technology.
Yeah.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island.
Okay.
I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As usual, this is a one-man infiltration mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP?
Yep.
Yes. This is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
Okay. Looks like I'm really on my own. I do want to be on my own. Time limit. Let's go.
What's the time limit?
24 hours.
I mean, that's not
They
bad.
say they'll launch after 24 hours.
I think in my
They say
best
what the
ever
target will
run,
be?
I did this
So
in
far,
4
they haven't
hours, so
mentioned
we got
the
plenty of
target.
time.
When did the countdown start?
That's like
5
skipping every
hours ago.
cutscene, skipping every codec chat. Which you can't just skip the whole thing with codec. You have to literally spam the button to skip all of the chit chat. So, who's in charge?
Colonel, who are you speaking for?
Naturally, I'm representing the U.S. government.
Oh yeah.
So who's in supervisory control of this operation?
The President of the United States.
Which means that the President must be meeting with his top aides in the map room about now, huh?
No, at this point, they're still video conferencing with each other.
If that's a real nuclear warhead, shouldn't they issue a COG?
Not yet. The Secretary of Defense has operational control and is fully aware of the situation.
Okay, okay.
After you infiltrate, if you determine they possess nuclear launch capabilities, a COG will be issued.
Well, if they haven't relocated to the nuclear shelter under Mount Washington, I suppose there isn't that much reason to worry yet. Is the National Security Agency in on this?
Yes. So is the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency.
The DIA? I'm starting to get a bad feeling about
Yep.
this.
There's
sending
going to be a
some
lot of bad
support.
feelings
We
about
don't
this.
need desk jockeys. We need a nuclear weapons specialist.
Of course. A nuclear weapons specialist has already been assigned to us.
Is that Nastasha? Do we... Oh, end of tape. I see. I see. Never mind. We'll find out in the next one. Oh, one. Ah, support crew. There we go. Ooh, do we find out about both Mei Ling and Nastasha here?
We need backup from a specialist.
Yes, we do.
I'm just an amateur when it comes to nuclear weapons.
I know.
Yay,
That's why I've
Nastasha
requested the
Romanenko.
assistance of a military analyst named Nastasha Romanenko. She'll be providing you backup by Kodak.
A female analyst?
She's built up an impressive record as an advisor for the Nuclear Emergency Search Team. Contact her if you have any questions.
Okay.
She's also an expert on high-tech weapons.
Where's she working from?
At her home in Los Angeles.
California. Seems like a million miles away.
It does, but at least she's on the phone, right? Yep. There we go. Usually when there's a bit of a pause, they tend to end. So, Roy Campbell. So what are you getting involved for this for, Roy?
Colonel, you're retired. Why are you involved in this?
Because there aren't many people who know Foxhound as well as I do.
Is that really the only reason?
I've been soldiering for a long time. I don't know anything else. I guess even though I'm getting a little old, I still love to be in the field.
Colonel,
Well, you're not really in the
lousy
field, are you?
liar. Tell me the real reason.
Okay, Snake. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'll be frank.
called you out on your bullshit
A
there.
person very dear to me is being held hostage.
Okay.
Who is it?
My niece, Meryl.
Dun dun dun. I wonder if we'll come across this Meryl. Oh, we're getting a whole segment just for Meryl. Nice.
What was your niece doing here?
Several soldiers were reported missing the day of the revolt. And my niece was one of those called in as an emergency replacement.
She looks like you.
She's my little brother's girl.
I
He
mean,
died in the Gulf
from that
War.
image to the picture of
Since then, I've
Colonel
been watching
Campbell,
after
they
her.
really don't look like each other.
Personal motive, Colonel. That's not very soldierly.
I'm retired. I'm just an old man now.
Okay.
And I'm your friend.
Oh, are you now?
Since when are we friends?
I've thought of us as friends since the fall of Zanzibar.
With my personality, I don't have too many friends.
That's what I trust about you. It's what makes you human.
What makes you get this job done?
Save my niece, Meryl.
Okay, okay.
All right. But I have two conditions.
Name them.
One, no more secrets between us.
Yeah.
I want complete disclosure at all times. And two, I'll only accept orders directly from you, Colonel. No
Oh.
cutoffs involved, okay?
Agreed. That's why I was called. But
Oh.
one thing,
Oh yeah,
What?
really?
I'm not a colonel anymore. Just a retired old warhorse.
I understand, Colonel.
Yeah. I'm just gonna call you Colonel anyway. Okay, so what about this Dr. Naomi? What's her dealio?
That doctor, is she part of this operation too?
She was in charge of Foxhound's gene therapy. She knows more about those men than anyone else.
You mean you've seen them naked?
Make no mistake, I'm not a nurse. I'm a scientist.
Okay.
By the way, what was that injection for?
It's a combination of nanomachines and an anti-freezing peptide so that your blood and other bodily fluids don't freeze, even at subarctic temperatures.
Okay, how long does that last?
Nanomachines.
Not just one kind, either. There are different types which will replenish the supply of adrenaline, nutrition, and sugar in your bloodstream.
Okay. So don't
Now
really
I
need
have
to eat?
worry about food.
I also put some nootropics in there.
Say what?
Nootropics. A class of drugs which will help improve your mental functioning.
Make me
Okay.
smarter, huh? Anything else?
Yes, Benzedrine. It's a type of stimulant. It'll keep you alert and responsive for 12 straight hours.
Okay.
That was quite a cocktail. Anything else in there?
Those nanomachines will also keep your Codex batteries charged up.
I guess I can call you when I'm ready to go on a diet.
Okay.
You're welcome.
I mean, I'd like that as well myself. Alright, so that's that one done. Detailed information. Okay, so this one's probably going to be the big one, isn't it? Go!
The chief of DARPA and the president of an arms manufacturing company. What business did they have at a nuclear weapons disposal facility?
The truth is that secret exercises were being conducted at the time the terrorist group attacked.
Be
Okay.
extremely important exercises if those two were directly involved. Were they testing some kind of new advanced weapon?
Maybe.
I'm not privy to that information.
Do we know exactly where they're being held?
The DARPA chief
Somewhere
has also
within
been
the
injected with a
facility.
mini transmitter. As you get closer, you should be able to pick up his location on your radar.
What radar is that? Oh wow, that was a really short one. Not going into specifics, are we? Hey. Nuclear weapons. I mean, if it's a disposal facility and they've not been disposed, they're probably going to have a lot, aren't they?
Launch a nuclear missile?
They say they do. They even gave us the serial number of the warhead they plan to use.
Wow.
Was the number confirmed?
I'm afraid so. At the very least, they've got their hands on a real nuclear warhead.
Isn't
Okay.
there some kind of safety device to prevent this type of terrorism?
Yes. Every missile and warhead in our arsenal is equipped with a PAL, which uses a discrete detonation code.
PAL.
Permissive Action Link.
Oh, I was going to say
The
something else
safety
there.
control system built into all nuclear weapons systems. But even so, we can't rest easy.
Okay.
Why not?
Because the DARPA chief knows the detonation code.
Dun dun dun!
If they have a nuclear warhead, it must have been removed from its missile. All the missiles on these disposal sites are supposed to be dismantled.
Supposed to be,
Not
that's
that
the
easy
key
to get
word
your
there.
hands on an ICBM.
That used to be true. But since the end of the Cold War, you can get anything if you have enough money and the right connections.
I mean, to be fair, isn't that just, like, always been the case? You can always get anything if you have connections and the right amount of money, you know? Okay, so the armament. Ooh, does this tell me about their specific weapons that they're carrying?
How well armed are these terrorists? I know there was an exercise going on at the time they revolted.
They're heavily armed, I'm afraid.
What about their battle experience?
The 6 members of Foxhound in charge are all hardened veterans. They're tough enough to eat nails and ask for seconds.
I wouldn't expect anything less from Foxhound.
The others are next-generation special forces.
Okay.
They're not your average grunts either.
Why? Is that it? What? That was a very shit explanation of what was going on. I need more information. God damn it. The terrorists demand. So if I remember correctly, they just want the remains of Big Boss?
So what exactly are they demanding?
A person's remains.
Remains?
That's right. To be more accurate, cell specimens which contain the individual's genomic information.
Cell specimens? Why would they want that?
The terrorists need them. You see, these next-generation special forces have been strengthened through gene therapy.
Strengthened?
You've heard of the Human Genome Project.
Yep.
They've been mapping the human genome, and they're nearly finished.
And they
Following
need
up
this
on
one
research,
person.
The military has been working towards identifying those genes which are responsible for making effective soldiers.
There are genes that do that?
Yes. And using gene therapy, they're able to transplant those genes into regular soldiers.
Gene therapy?
I'll explain this part.
Okay.
With gene therapy, we can remove those genes which we know may lead to sickness or disease, and at the same time splice in genes with beneficial effects, such as resistance to cancer, for example.
In other words, we can overcome all sorts of genetic diseases, and at the same time add genetic characteristics as desired.
Okay.
We're
And
playing
so if you
God.
knew what genes were responsible for making the perfect soldier, you could implant them in the same way, right?
Yes, we could.
But it all depends on being able to isolate and identify those soldier genes.
And in order to do that, it's helpful if you can study the genomic information of one of the greatest soldiers ever.
Big boss. Huh. No one's going to establish that it's Big Boss's body they're after. Oh, they might do it here. Oh.
One of the greatest soldiers ever?
The man they call the greatest warrior of the 20th century.
You don't mean Big Boss.
Yeah, there we
That's
go,
right.
finally.
We've been working feverishly to identify the genes responsible for his incredible combat skill. So far, we've discovered about 60 of the so-called soldier genes.
So his body was recovered after all.
Yes, and his cells have remained frozen in a cryo chamber. His genomic information is a priceless treasure to mankind.
Priceless to the military, perhaps.
His body was burned severely, but it was possible to restore his DNA profile from just a single strand of his hair.
Really?
People are amazing.
That seems
And then
insane.
you're gonna transplant those genes into soldiers?
Yes. We'll use a process that I discovered called gene targeting. The strongest soldiers don't become what they are by acquiring their skills through training or experience. We now know that hereditary factors are far more crucial for creating superior soldiers.
See,
Snake.
I have a hard time believing
Can't
that.
give them his body.
I mean, they still need to know the skills, right? You can't just create a baby that's just good at
I
war.
hear the terrorists are calling themselves the Sons of Big Boss.
Dun dun dun.
Sons of Big Boss.
And end scene. Okay, so are we getting, yep, next gen special forces unit, let's go. Oh, that wouldn't surprise me if Foxhound was opening a subgenre of its own.
Tell me about these next generation special forces.
They started out as an anti-terrorist special ops unit, made
Okay.
up of former members of biochem units, technical escort units, and the nuclear emergency search team. Their purpose was to respond to threats involving next-generation weapons of mass destruction,
Yep.
including NBC weapons.
Until they
As in
were at
the TV
ends.
channel.
Who's they?
NBC.
These guys didn't start out as regular army.
Looks like a pretty international group. Mercenaries?
Yeah, and it gets worse. Most of them were from a merc agency that I think you're familiar with.
Ooh, which
They were
one?
part of Big Boss's private guard.
Dun dun
After Big
dun.
Boss went down, the military just bought out all their contracts.
Outer heaven.
After that, they were merged with our own VR unit, Force 21, and retrained. If you ask me, these so-called next-generation special forces should be called simulated soldiers. They have no real battle experience.
Video game players, huh?
Yep, that's
Don't
what they
forget
are.
They've all been strengthened with gene therapy. They carry genes which make them excellent soldiers.
Oh, do they now?
Don't get careless just because they don't have much experience.
I thought using genetically modified soldiers was prohibited by international law.
Yes,
I mean,
but those are just
is anyone
stipulations
really
about
gonna do
treaties.
that?
The interesting thing is that nearly every member of the unit conspired in this attack.
Okay. We just and yep. Okay, so the reason for unanimous approval.
How could an entire unit be subverted to rebellion?
They're calling it a revolution.
Since they all went through the same gene therapy, they probably felt closer than brothers. They see the unit as their only family.
Oh,
The Sons of Big Boss.
yep.
But if they were regular army, they must have been interviewed periodically by army counselors.
According to their files, they all got straight A's on their psychological tests.
That seems
They all
like a
seemed
little bit of bull to
fine,
me.
upstanding, patriotic soldiers.
But they all took part in the uprising?
No, several people didn't show up on the day of the exercise. That's why there was a resupply of troops.
Was there any sign recently that something might be wrong?
There was a report a month ago that they were acting strangely.
Apparently they consulted classified information about the soldier genes and performed their own gene therapy experiments.
Oh,
They can
that
do
can't be good.
even without you?
Well, our gene therapy process is almost completely automated. And besides that, they're all geniuses with IQs over 180.
Because of the gene
Even
therapy.
The existence of this genome army is a national secret of the highest order. We've been hoping to investigate this thing quietly and deal with it behind closed doors.
Okay, okay. I see what you're doing there. Now, the final subject, or are we going to unlock a bunch more stuff after this one? So, Unit Foxhound.
High-tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound.
Dun dun
Your
dun.
former unit.
Yup.
And one that I was a commander of. An elite group combining firepower and expertise. They're every bit as good as when I was commanding them.
So they're still around.
Yup.
There are 6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mantis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter.
Yup.
Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot,
Dun, dun,
specialist in
dun.
interrogation and a formidable gunfighter.
Looks like a lovely bunch of folks. Too bad we'll be meeting under these circumstances.
And finally, in charge of them,
Liquid
Foxhound
Snake.
squad leader,
Oh.
Liquid Snake.
Yeah.
Liquid Snake?
Yes. And you're the only person who can stand against him.
Because you got Snake in your name? Liquid Snake. Dun dun dun.
Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake.
Are we just going to keep
Man
saying
with
that
the same
name?
code
Liquid
name as you.
Snake.
Tell me what you know.
He fought in the Gulf War as a teenager, the youngest person in the SAS. His job was to track down and destroy mobile Scud missile launching platforms. You were there too, I believe. Didn't you infiltrate Western Iraq with a platoon of Green Berets?
And maybe I did, maybe I
Just a
didn't.
kid myself back then.
The details are classified, but it seems that originally he penetrated the Middle East as a sleeper for the SIS.
He was a spy for the British Secret Intelligence Service?
But he never once showed his face in Century House. He was taken prisoner in Iraq, and after that there was no trace of him for several years. After you retired, he was rescued and became a member of Foxhound.
I thought that by the time I left, they were no longer using code names.
I don't know his real name. That information is so highly classified that even I can't look at it.
Well, we don't need to know his real name. We just
Here's
need to
a
know
photo
that he's a
of him.
snake.
Pretty shocking, huh?
Yep.
His skin tone is different, but otherwise you two are exact duplicates.
I have a twin?
I
Yep.
don't know the details, but it seems so. That's why we really need you for this mission.
You're the only one who can beat him.
Am I now?
I know.
Really?
You've got something that he doesn't. I can see it in your eyes.
Why don't I find that thought more comforting?
Because it's not. Why would it be more comforting? Come on. Oh, and is that it? That's the last of them. Okay, cool. I actually thought there was going to be a little bit more there, but that is going to be the end of the briefing tapes, and now we are prepared for... Oh,
I need to borrow your scissors.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to stab
worry,
myself in the
just gonna
leg so I
clean
can get
myself
out the
up.
mission.
Huh?
I don't want to be mistaken for the leader of the terrorists.
Oh, okay. That's fine. He's just going to have a little trim, is he? Nice. So yes, that is going to be the end of the briefing tapes. So now we shall move into the main game. So, thank you very much for watching this one. I really appreciate it. Whatever it is that you're doing and wherever it is that you are, I hope that you have a great time. And I shall see you in the next one.